Hey YouTube, this is Jake with the Garbroders, and today we're doing an updated deck profile of my Volcanion deck. Alongside with us today we have Jacob.
Hi.
He's kind of just going to be commenting in as I do this. His Raticate updated profile will be up soon. And one more thing before we start, we're going to try to get the other members of the Garbroders to put up their current deck profiles. But until then, we're just going to have to deal with these. So let's get right into this. First off, we have 3 copies of Volcanion. He's the main attacker of the deck, he or she.
He or she.
For 1 fire energy, you can use Power Heater and do 20 damage and attach 2 fire energies from your discard pile. So you can attach 1 to each of 2 of your bench Pokemon. I don't know if I said that right, but that's how I'm going to say it. Then we just run 3 of those. Next we run 4 copies of Volcanion EX. I'm going to show you this copy because it's easier to read. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, during this turn, your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage. It's not that special unless you have multiple, and since we play 4, the damage stacks. So Power Heater can go from a 20 damage move to a 50, 80, 110 to 140 damage attack, which can knock out a lot of things. And paired up with like Fighting Fury Belts and other things that you'll see later, it can really pack a punch. Now we play 1 copy of Flareon EX. Its ability Flash Fire. Once during your turn before you attack, you may move a fire energy from one of your Pokemon to this Pokemon. What I like to do is, if I have this and a Volcanion EX on the bench, I'll use Power Heater and attach 1 to this and 1 to a Volcanion. And the next turn I'll Flash Fire the energy on Volcanion EX to this Pokemon, and then I have 2. And then Blaze Ball for 3 colorless energy. Does 50 damage plus 20 more for each fire energy attached to Flareon. So that damage can stack up really fast, and you can use Steam Up. Now we have our newest addition to the deck, and it's the new Promo XY 184 Giratina for its ability. Each Pokemon break has no abilities, and this includes the ability of its previous evolution. I did not have this in until I played in the League Cup, and there was so much Greninja played that I felt this was necessary. So right after the League Cup was over, I put this in there. And it also stops things like Delphox and Raticate, which Jacob doesn't like so much. But I like this card. I haven't been able to truly test it because I haven't played against Greninja since I put this in. But at least the day of recording this, I'm about to go to my more competitive league. And hopefully I'll be able to play against some Greninja today. Next we play 2 copies of Staryu. Just Staryu there for its evolution. We play 2 copies of Starmie. Starmie's ability Space Beacon. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, put 2 basic energies from your discard pile into your hand. So what you can do is, if you have Starmie on your bench, and you use 2 Steam Ups, you can discard a card and put the 2 fire energies you just discarded with Steam Up back in your hand, and if you have more EXs on your bench of Volcanion, then you can Steam Up again. It's really good, and I think most Volcanion decks should use Starmie. The only downside to it is your Garbodor matchup, and you can't use it. It's kind of worthless. So next up, just like in most decks, you'll see there's 2 Shaymins. Just for the ability to set up, it's so good. You need it in almost every single deck, except for like the exception of Greninja Break. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw a card until you have 6 in your hand, which is so good. And then for a DCE, Sky Return for 30, just you pick it up and everything attached to it and put it back in your hand. That's definitely the priciest card in the whole deck. Now we have 1 copy of Hoopa EX. When you bench it, you search your deck for up to 3 EXs and put it in your hand. When I play it, I usually find myself either getting a Volcanion EX, a Flareon EX, or a Shaman, or 2 Volcanion EXs and a Shaman. Just depends on what I have out at the time. Alright, so that's it for our Pokemon lineup. Now we'll move on to our supporters. We have 3 copies of Professor Sycamore. Discard your hand and draw 7. It's 3 to 4 standard in every single deck. You shouldn't play any less than 3. We have 2 ends. Each player shuffles his or her hand into their deck and draws cards equal to the amount of prizes they have. So at the beginning of the game, if you're going first, you can disrupt your opponent by getting rid of that extra card and just making it so they have 6 in their hand. They don't get that 8 card hand at the beginning of their turn. And it's really good late game if your opponent's winning and you're behind. You can end them into a really small hand and hopefully catch up and win. Next up for our supporters, we have Lysander. We have 2 copies of that. Just when you play it, you switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active. Lysander, I know, is the card that wins games, because Lysander is the most clutch card in the format. We have 1 Pokemon Ranger, just in case you play against like a Jolteon Mew deck, or just anything. I think every deck should play 1 Ranger, just because that Vileplume box deck is going to counter one of your Pokemon in some way, since it has Jolteon and Glaceon. So you need this just in case. Next, I play 1 copy of Brock's Grit. Shuffle 6 of in any combination of Pokemon and basic energies back into your deck. If late game you just don't have a baby set up and you're trying to power up Flareon the win, and you just can't get a way to get them all out of your discard pile energies, you can play Brock's Grit to put them back in. You can also put in your baby Volcanions thing. And that finishes up our supporter lineup. Next we're going to move on to our items. We have 4 VS Seeker. 4 VS Seeker is a must in every single deck. I don't even recommend 3. I think you need 4 no matter what. Just put a supporter card from your discard into your hand. It's so great. And then along with that, you're on 4 Trainer's Mail. Usually I run 3, but in this particular deck I run 4. I just find it... I did run 3 copies and 1 Skyla, but I like saving my supporter for the turn to hopefully get a draw supporter with Trainer's Mail. And 4 Trainer's Mail is just... it seems like it's more helpful, so... I'm pretty sure in the last profile I had 3, but now I have 4. Next, we still have 4 Ultra Balls. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Search your deck for any Pokemon you like and put it in your hand. Any deck that runs Shamans definitely needs 4 Ultra Ball. It's so good. You get to slim down your hand size and then Shaman set up for a lot. Next we run 3 Max Elixirs. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach a basic energy you find there to one of your benched basic Pokemon. This deck plays all basics other than Starmie, so it's very convenient to power up your Flareon. Now we have our tool cards. We run 3 Fighting Fury Belts. Like I said, almost all the Pokemon in this deck are basic, so Fighting Fury Belt, when you attach it to a basic Pokemon, it has 40 more HP and does 10 more damage. And that 10 more damage can decide things. If you're doing 160, there's a lot of 170 Pokemon EX. You can do that last little bit of damage to knock it out. And we also have 2 Float Stones, just for if like a Hoopa or a Volcanion EX gets stuck in your active position and you can't get rid of it, you can attach this and switch. You run 1 Professor's Letter. Just search your deck for 2 basic energies and put them in your hand. That's if you don't have Starmie set up and you need to power heater really badly. Just Professor's Letter, search for 2. And our stadium of choice in this deck, we run 3 Skyfield. I'm pretty sure in the last profile I ran Scorched Earth and Skyfield, but I've changed it to I just run 3 Skyfield because I always find my bench being filled up, so I'll fill it up with everything in my Shamans at the beginning of the game, and then they'll play their stadium, and I get to discard my Shamans so they're not a Lysander target, and then I'll just put this right back up in play and get out more Volcanion EX and other things that I might need. And finally, we have our basic energy count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 basic fire energies. You need a lot for this deck, but a lot of people run 12 to 13. I find 11 being perfect. This deck got me 5th place in the League Cup, if you haven't already seen the vlog for that. I think it did really good. I just got some bad matchups, and I wasn't able to make it to top cut. But other than that, I think this deck is really good. It does me well. It wins me a lot of games. And that actually concludes this deck profile. I'll give you guys a brief overview of it really quickly. Right there, Jacob setting up his Eradicate deck profile, which you'll see right after this is posted. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more of our content. But until next time, I'll see you later.